we're going to investigate vertical shifts for the sine graph. It would be the same for the cosine. So I've drawn a sine graph on here, and we've got it for 2 cycles from 0 to 360 and 0 to minus 360. And so we've got sine of x. I'm going to investigate what happens when we add or subtract numbers at the end. If I turn on the blue one, we've got sine of x plus 1. I've already done this for you, and we notice that it's moved it upwards. Okay, so this graph from here, the sine curve, the parent curve, has been moved upwards. Okay, if I turn that off, what happens when I do sine of x plus 5? Well, the x and the y-intercepts have moved up to 5, and all these points have moved up by 5. So it causes a vertical shift by whatever the number happens to be. So what happens if I go minus 3? Take a guess. You should shift it down. So therefore we move it down. It's like looking at y equals x squared plus 5 or y equals x squared minus 5. We know it moves it in a vertical shift. It's the same thing when you do any other curve. So let's make it really smart this time rather than just typing in random numbers like this. Let's turn those ones off and let's get rid of them. And let's have a look at a variable type thing. Okay, so let's turn this one off as well. Okay, we're going to look at this graph here, and we're going to look at y equals sine of x plus d. If d was 0, let's make it back to 0. Oopsie, let's squeeze it back to 0. There we go. Oopsie, it's just moved it off there. I've actually got a bit of... There we go. Okay, sine of x plus d is 0. So if I move it upwards, then the graph should move upwards, and it doesn't change the curve at all. Okay, it just shifts it up. And I'm going to stop at 4, so therefore it's just moved it up by 4. So the critical point is that the center is at 4, which is the number that is here, so 4, and the amplitude in this case is 1, so it goes up as far as 1, down as far as 1. So the 4 will give you the center. If I move it back the other way and move it down into the negative region, you can see it being moved down. So if I move it down to negative 5, let's see if I can grab it on negative 5, there we go. Okay, I'm just going to move the curve up. Okay, you can see here that it goes through, the center line would be at negative 5, and then the curve just oscillates around there. And the amplitude for this particular one happens to be 1.